What are some useful time management skills for someone that deals with ADHD? What are the best time management techniques for adults with ADHD? For those viewing this video inside the time management course on iloveshinyobjects.com that have ADHD, pay attention to this video. It will be very helpful for you. I packed a lot of extra ADHD stuff in this video. With any and all ADHD tips, it's important to separate yourself from the problems so that you don't attack yourself, but turn your focus from attacking yourself to attacking the problems or struggles you have. In other words, you want to redirect your energy and focus towards the ADHD problems and struggles and away from self-blame. If your internal clock doesn't tick loud enough, then you need to make up for it with external clocks. That quote is from Ari Tuckman's book, More Tension, Less Deficit. But we need to take this a step further and monitor each thing we do and how much time it takes for each thing so that we can pinpoint what things are throwing off our time management. It does cost time to save time and manage our time for the rest of our lives, so you must be willing to sacrifice the present in exchange for managing the rest of your life. And you'll finally know the answer to that frequent question at the end of each day: where did all my time go today? Work with the clock in front of you and look up at it frequently to track how much time is passing as you complete each task. You could also do this with clocks, alarms, timers, in places you typically lose track of time, and in places that you'll remember to use them. If you don't respond well to visual reminders like clocks for time passing, use auditory ones. You can wear headphones and only have one headphone in your ear, so if someone walks in your office, you don't get scared, but it just beeps every hour to keep you on time and to keep you focused on what you are currently working on. Then you could check if what you are currently working on is what you're supposed to be working on in that time, or how much more you have completed on that particular task in the past hour, and is that where you want to be? Organizational stuff to save time. If you aren't, try to create the simplest organization system you can that is the easiest for you to maintain and to find things quickly. Quote, everything has its place. With this mantra, you always put something back in its place as soon as you're done using it. This makes it so much easier to find stuff. If doing this mantra immediately doesn't work for you, reserve 5 minutes before lunch or before you leave work to do this, and try to organize your desk as fast as possible. Make a game out of it and set a timer to it. 3 questions to help you tackle distractions. Question 1, what might distract me? 2, what can I do to stop my future self from getting distracted? And 3, what can I do to prevent the distraction from happening in the first place? Have your proactive to-do list or calendar blocking or whatever time management system you are using to remind you of what you should be doing at a particular time in front of you. You can take this a step further and add a reoccurring 15-minute timer to remind you to check if what you are currently working on lines up to what you should be working on. If it does, feel free to reward yourself by a pat on the back, give yourself a self-high five, some dark chocolate, take another sip of your favorite coffee, whatever works for you. You might need to change the rewards over time to keep this working for you. Take to heart Brian Tracy's quote, "Successful people work on the vital few rather than the trivial many." Accountability. Working next to someone can be a constant reminder to help keep you on task, even if they don't know that's what you're doing. Or just commit to someone that you are going to get blank done in blank amount of time, and have them call you or text you when that time's over to see how things are going. Even if you don't finish it, it helps you become more aware of how long these different things take you to do so that you can better plan in the future. Or if you have a friend that is really organized, make a list of all the reasons you are commonly late and have that friend or family member help you brainstorm ways you can pre-plan to eliminate as many of those issues for you as possible. Or you can also use your accountability partner if you bought this time management course on iloveshinyobjects.com. Call your spouse if you are going to be more than 15 minutes late coming home. Send email appointment reminders to each other and add the addresses to Outlook or I think Gmail that both will give you a suggested time to leave based on traffic, but be sure to give yourself a little extra time to accommodate for how much time it usually takes you to get out of your office or home office. Or you can have your spouse call you and make sure you are leaving so that you aren't going to be late. Create a razor sharp focus by having a very appealing, concrete goal, by knowing exactly what to do to reach that goal, and by avoiding minimizing distractions. Use relative short periods of time and take breaks regularly. Grace time. Add double the amount of time as you think it will take you to do something. Worst thing that could happen is that you finish early and you have more time to relax or take a longer break in between your tasks and projects or sharpen your saw just a little more. Somewhere in your schedule, plan in some grace time to account for all the unplanned events that are completely out of your control that will inevitably happen. Just interruptions like calls, your boss walking in, wants to talk to you about something random and unrelated, distractions, something broke, your computer's not working right, lack of being able to get help, maybe someone took the day off, whatever. Find ways to increase your energy. Try doing some kind of intensive sport, perhaps during lunch, to keep your energy up. Find ways that relax you. You can try meditation, mindfulness exercises. Meditation is just deep breathing. If you breathe in really slow in through your mouth and out through your nose, it will help slow down your heart rate and naturally relax you. You could also try taking a peaceful walk in the woods or the park. Timers and alarms are really helpful, and just you need to always be thinking routine, routine, routine. Seek careers that are more time flexible or that the hours just naturally line up with when you're most energetic and focused. Create a simple routine, habit, or a departure checklist. Just put it in some spot you think it would be the most helpful with the times that you need to do each major thing that you have to do before leaving to go to work so that you won't be late. Have a spouse or roommate help you with this to create something that will work for you. Often they can see issues that you can't see, underestimating how long something will take, for example. You could set a timer for each of these activities to time how long it will take you so that you can better plan each day. And make sure to plan in some grace time for when things go wrong in your morning, like you run out of coffee, breakfast, you need to stop, fill up with gas, you forgot something, accidents on the road, etc. If you're still having trouble getting to work on time, it might be hard to say no to those just one more things, or it will only take a minute. Those things pretty much always guarantee you that you will be late. If you need to leave at 8:15 a.m. to get to work at 9 a.m., then at, let's say, 7 a.m. you need to wake up. By 7:05 you need to be in the bathroom getting ready. By 7:30 you need to be out of the bathroom and in the kitchen making breakfast and coffee. This is just an example of a list or to-do list, checklist that you can make to help yourself get out the door and on into work on time. You can be done making yourself breakfast by 7:40. You need to be done eating and drinking your coffee by 7:50. You need to be done cleaning up the kitchen by 7:55. You need to be done brushing your teeth by 8 a.m. And you need to have all your things ready and be out the door by 8:10 a.m. And before you go, just stop and think, did I forget anything? You want to be in your car and be going by 8:15 a.m. Now plan to be everywhere 15 minutes early, because again, you might need to get gas, there might be a wreck, you might have to change a dirty diaper, etc. Have a launch pad by your door. Whatever door that you leave out of, could be the back to the garage, for example, or the front if your car's out front. And then put everything you need on that launch pad to leave. So there's less you have to grab, there's less you have to remember. Find a way to resist the urge to do, again, just that one more thing before leaving the house. Perhaps just write it down and put it on a sticky note on the fridge so that you can take care of it when you come back home. To make sure you leave work, set timers and reminders for the last 1.5 hours, hour, and the last 30 minutes before you have to leave work for the day. And that last 5 minutes, go to YouTube and find the final countdown song. It's exactly 5 minutes long. And during that time, try to clean up, organize, and get out of your office and before that song finishes, to make this a game. And doing this hour and a half, hour, 30 minutes, it helps you finalize and finish up things and plan out what you're going to finish up today and what you need to plan tomorrow, and also to clean up and organize and get ready for tomorrow's task and projects. The time guesstimate game from the book ADHD Friendly Ways to Organize Your Life, with your spouse, friend, family member, or your accountability partner from this course. Make 6 columns on a piece of paper. Then in the first column, write all the things you need to do tomorrow. In the second column, guess how much time you think each of those things will take you to do. In the third column, have the other person write how long they think each of those things will take you to do. Then the next day, set a stopwatch timer for each of those different things and write down the actual time in the 5th column. Ask yourself these questions and put them in the 6th column. Who won the game? What did you learn today that will help you do better tomorrow? Keep playing until you feel like you've gotten all the help you can from this game. Use waiting times like waiting for meetings, doctor's visits, picking up your kids at school, etc. as recharging times. Do things that will recharge you the most. Here are some random suggestions. Read your Bible. Take deep, slow breaths to reduce your stress or anxiety or your other negative emotions. Exercise. In your car, you could do fun, simple exercises, or pray for others and yourself. Tips from the book The Disorganized Mind by Nancy Ratley. Bookends and anchors. Bookends are about being firm on when you wake up every day and when you go to bed every day. Anchors are having consistent times for eating, exercise, meds, anything that will sharpen your saw, as Stephen Covey used to say, and will help you out for the rest of the day. Based on your anchors, divide your days into quadrants. Put your alarms in unusual places so it's more work to turn them off, and they are just too annoying to ignore. Also put a reminder next to the next thing you should do. Also, you could put some kind of a reminder item like your car keys next to the timer so that when it goes off, when you're setting it, when it goes off, you remember, oh, now I have to go run this errand. You can also set hourly alarms like I've already mentioned, where you could cross-reference if what you're currently working on is what you're supposed to be working on. My add-on tip is to self-reflect if you need more help with this at the end of each hour and reflect on what worked well and what didn't work well and what you can do better the next hour. The maximum time I would set for this is, again, 1.5 hours, like I mentioned in the other videos, because research has shown that brain performance starts decreasing after this 1.5 hour mark. Use the half, half, half rule. Take whatever you had planned to do for a project and cut it in half. Then cut it in half again. Then plan out to do that. So this is all about the Brian Tracy again, working on the vital few rather than the trivial many. Automate, delegate, batch. For the stuff that you delegate, make sure you give deadlines to those people. Keep in mind the big picture, your quarter or your month, and the little picture each and every day, or quadrant for those days. Plan structured time and flexible time into each workday if that will work better for you. Don't get stuck in planning paralysis, because the only perfect system for time management is the system that works best for you. Whatever tips you decide to use, the key is to evaluate how well they are working for you and be flexible about changing the ones that aren't working so well. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Consider how much time is available in your busy schedule and plan accordingly. If you take on a new project, you may have to cut back on other activities in order to finish it on time. Post your deadlines where you will see them. This will remind you to use your time wisely. Break bigger projects into smaller projects and assign a deadline for each of those smaller projects. As always, subscribe and hit the bell to take your time management soul.